The Central Nigeria CBN and FBN Holdings PLC have filed a motion to dismiss lawsuit brought by Barbican Capital Limited, an investment firm affiliated with Group Limited. Barbican Capital is claiming that FBN Holdings altered its 5,386,397,202 units of shares in the bank, representing 15.1% of the bank's overall shareholding. Barbican Capital asserts that its share acquisitions were recorded by the bank's appointed registrars and acknowledged by the Central Security System (CSCS). However, FBN Holdings and CB argue that the lawsuit is an attempt to bypass a necessary verification process initiated by the CBN. The bank revealed that Barbican Capital failed to provide required documents for verifying its claimed shareholding, leading the CBN to only confirm 3.1 billion shares out of the 4.77 billion units claimed by Barbican Capital. The case remains ongoing, with both CBN and FBN Holdings standing firm on the necessity of the verification to ensure regulatory compliance. The Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, has written about President Bola Tinubu's recent statement regarding Nigeria production levels. On August 4, 2024, President announced that Nigeria's oil output had reached 1.6 barrels per day, signaling a recovery in the nation's oil industry. OPEC's latest data contradicts the president's assertion, indicating Nigeria's actual oil output was significantly lower. According to OPEC, Nigeria produced 1.276 million barrels per day in June 2024, with a slight increase to 1.3 barrels per day in July. The discrepancy between the government's report data has led to calls for a closer examination of the country's production metrics. The debate over Nigeria's true production levels continues as government and industry experts seek to clarify the situation. The conflict in Sudan has displaced millions and left many in the country with a deteriorating economy. The northeastern African nation plunged into chaos in April last year when tensions between the military and notorious paramilitary group, the Rapid Support Forces, turned into open fighting in the capital, Khartoum, before spreading across the country. Fighting has killed thousands of people and pushed many people into starvation. More than 10.7 million people have been forced to flee their homes since the fighting began, according to the International Organization for Migration. Over 2 million of those fled to neighboring countries. Last month, global experts also confirmed that starvation at a massive displaced people in Darfur has grown into famine. About 25.6 people, more than half of Sudan's population, will face acute hunger, experts from the Famine Review Committee warned. According to the Central Bureau of Statistics in Sudan, the inflation rate in the country has recently hit 159%. The peace talks face uncertainty as Sudan has yet to confirm its participation in the meeting in Switzerland by the United States and Saudi Arabia.
Okay, that was a whole lot to take in, yes. And we have Iman Ohiomori, yes, on Zoom to continue to update us on our financial reports. Good morning, Manu.
Good morning, Chomalina, and it's Ohiomori. Thank you very much.
Ohiomori.
Ohiomori well in the last few days, and I'm wondering where Ohiomori came on this. Came on later. anyway, the most really very how will I put it, controversial there from that point is the FBN Capital, FBN Holdings and Capital, and that's Honeywell Group. And everybody will be wondering what's the Barbican, CBN, First Bank Holdings, and what's this whole capital thing? So you would recall that the First Bank of Nigeria, which is now FBN Holdings, was actually largely owned by Honeywell. And if you know Honeywell Group is about to decor. It's very popular and the major owner. But quite recently, Femi Otedola took over the First Bank Group, and now Barbican, which is a subsidiary of Honeywell Group, they are the ones who control the shares of Honeywell Group in First Bank. And like Femi Otedola has taken over most of the shares in First Bank. So he's the largest shareholder, largest single shareholder in First Bank. So right now we're having them have to reorder the shares. And so, with First Bank going to the central bank to say, okay, now we want to raise our capital, and everybody is asked, okay, how much, what is the percentage of shares that everybody has? Now, Barbican or Honeywell claims to about 5.39 million shares, even though First Bank put it about 4.47. And Central Bank says, Barbican, could you show proof that you have this number of shares, and give them a time to do to show proof. Unfortunately, Barbican couldn't prove that this number of shares is what they had within the stipulated time. And so Central Bank says, no, we've been able to prove only this. So you have only, I think they have, what is there is about 3-point-something million number of shares. And he says that's all able to prove. So that's the only number of shares you have. So Barbican has gone to court and says, court, please make CBN and First Bank reorder the shares and show that we have 5.139 billion, not millions, I'm calling million, is billion shares in First Bank. This leadership tussle has been going on for a while, and you remember that there is nothing that politics has nothing to do with. There's the boardroom politics, there's the country's politics. All of these have something to do with this internal tussle that is going on in First Bank, basically between two groups. We don't know how it will end, but I have a strong feeling it may not end well for Barbican Group, which is the Honeywell Group. I have a strong feeling it may not end well for them. They may have to if they cannot prove with the court that these are the number of shares, because at least the central bank says they give them time to prove that this is what you have, but they couldn't prove it. Anyway, that's the major story I just needed to talk about. Another very, very terrible and disturbing story is the issue of Sudan and Darfur. Khartoum, Darfur, all in Sudan, having a humanitarian crisis because of the war that's going on there. And from what we've heard, food prices have skyrocketed. It's really terrible right now. It's really terrible to have war in those parts or in any part of Africa. It's actually a warning sign to, because a lot of people have been displaced, even where they have been kept, the IDP camps where they have been kept, there's a lot of starvation there. There is people dying because of hunger. And it's a lesson for us, Nigeria, because you ask yourself, a lot of people keep beating the drums of war in Nigeria. And you ask yourself, do you experience this in Nigeria? I don't think any country plans to experience this. But those are my talking points. I'm waiting for your response, Chomalina.
Okay, I really wouldn't respond much. I just sometimes it's just good to stay and listen, be educated on what's happening in that sector. Anyway,
yeah, so yeah, go on. You can go on, please.
No, I'll ask if that's much we're taking now.
Yes, that's the much we're taking now for the business morning on Signature Business Morning Show.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel.
Thank you.
That was Emmanuel from Abuja. Update financially, which is very key, because you can't take this away from, you can't manage everything and leave a finance to go anyhow. We have some voices to listen about Igbo. Let's hear it.